Here's the old tank and the wiring connectors. So it looks like it's got two grounds tied together, and then these two coming in on a plug. So it should be one to your fuel pump power, and one is your fuel level sender, and the grounds are to each one. So we're just going to cut this guy off and use that. So here's the connector that's tied into the vehicle wiring harness, and here's the connector that I just cut off the tank. And what I did, I had a 50-50 chance of one of these being the right wire. So the purple one was a smaller gauge by a little bit, so I connected that one to my pink wire, and then the tan wire I've just got connected to ground right now. And my gauge has movement, although it seems to be completely backwards because I think I've only got about a quarter tank in there. So what I'm going to do is pour a little bit more gas in, and we'll see if this guy goes up or down. Pour some more gas in there, guy. No? Alright, well, I just poured gas in until I could hear it filling up to the top of the spout there, and it basically went to full. So I might have had more gas in there than I thought, but we went the right direction, which is good, because the ohms resistance on these can be 0 to 90 or 90 to 0 depending on which way you are. So that part's good. So we all know how it goes. You get your truck running, you want to drive it. You don't want to hook up electrical stuff. So I'll show you what I call my ghetto gauges. So this is just a cheap OBD2 Bluetooth scanner thing. There's a bunch of different types of these. Doesn't really matter which one it is. They're about 20 bucks. So that just plugs in your OBD port. Then inside the truck, here's what I've got. So this is an old Samsung phone of mine. It's got a cracked screen. It doesn't have any service anymore, and you don't need service for this. So you download an app called Torque Lite, and that's what this is, and it connects to the computer, and you can read all kinds of information from the computer with these. And this app is free, and it still uses the GPS on the phone, like I said, even though the phone has no SIM card. So you don't need that for this. You can use a tablet, you can use a phone, anything that has a GPS signal. So you can set up different screens with different gauges. You can read all kinds of stuff that you want. So I have this one set up for driving. And you can go through and you can configure the screen however you want and add whatever displays you want. So we're going to add a RPM, and I want it as a dial. So you go through all your different settings, engine RPM, medium. That's a little bit too big, but that's all right. And you move it, slide it over where you want. So for the driving screen, I just have my GPS speed, RPM, and coolant. And you can add other things. You can even monitor your O2 sensors and things like that and read codes. So we'll go for a little drive and I'll show you how this all works. So you can see it's pretty responsive. It's basically as responsive as normal gauges would be. We'll rev the engine up a little and you should be able to hear it and see the RPMs change at the same time. So this is a real good, low-cost, quick alternative to getting your gauges ready. And looks like our fuel gauge is still working. I've got all that wiring connected now. I soldered the wires together and grounded it. And without doing anything on the S10 gauges, my voltage meter has been working. So that's probably just tied into one wire somewhere to a fuse block. So the next two gauges I got to work on are oil pressure and water temp. So those, I should be able to use the stock gauges in the engine. I showed the video on how I got the oil temp, so that'll probably be the next video is hooking up this. I just got to extend the wires and it should directly just hook up. So for now, I got 2 out of 5 working, so we're getting there.